This week on Tech Wrap, Twitter for desktop rolls out a new look. We take a look at some interesting gadgets from CES 2014. And we review the Nokia Lumia 1520 and the new Lumia Black update for Windows Phone 8. Hi, I'm Michael Josh, and this is Tech Wrap, your weekly source for tech news, gadget reviews, app recommendations, and social media tips. These days, mobile dictates desktop. Just as smartphone operating systems dictate their desktop counterparts, Twitter rolls out a new look for its website interface this week based on its iOS and Android apps. The changes are purely aesthetic. A white menu bar instead of black, a flatter look and feel, and thinner fonts. A smaller version of the profile box also appears on the top left-hand sidebar. Sony targets emerging markets in Asia with the release of two mid-range smartphones this week. The Xperia T2 Ultra is a 6-inch phablet that features a 720p triluminous display, a 13-megapixel camera, 8GB of storage, and runs off a 1.4 GHz quad-core Snapdragon processor, 1GB of RAM, and a 3000 mAh battery. The Xperia E1, on the other hand, is a 4-inch smartphone with a WVGA display and a 1.2 GHz dual-core processor with 512 MB of RAM and 4 GB of storage. Both smartphones come with dual SIM variants. Sony is yet to release pricing and availability information. Popular cloud storage service Dropbox goes down for about 3 hours this week. While hackers claim responsibility, Dropbox explains internal factors caused the downtime. Dropbox infrastructure head says a planned maintenance went awry. Scripts were supposed to check if machines were active before their operating systems were upgraded. That didn't happen. Dropbox assures public files were not at risk. Dropbox promises a second layer of checks have been put in place to prevent incidents like this from happening again. Dropbox, not your cup of tea anymore. There are options. In fact, here's the deal you may not want to let pass. Cloud storage service Box is giving away 50 GB of free space to users who download their new iOS app within the next 30 days. The offer expires on February 14, 2014. Your new limit doesn't expire, however, so you get to keep those 50 gigs forever. What's the occasion? Box is celebrating the release of its new iOS app with a completely redesigned user interface, the ability to preview 100 different file types, live search within documents, and new collaborative tools. These features are already available on the Box apps for Windows Phone and Android. Prior to this 50 GB promo, new Box users got 10 GB of free storage. That's still a lot. In contrast, first-time iCloud users get 5 GB of storage, while Dropbox users start with 2 GB of free space. To get your 50 gigs, download Box from the iOS App Store. The PlayStation 4 is officially available in the Philippines. Sony Philippines launches its next-generation console at the Glorieta Activity Center in Makati on Tuesday. Sony says about 1,000 consoles have been sold since it began accepting pre-orders last December. The base price for the PlayStation 4 is $24,999. For a little bit more, though, you get extras. You pay $26,999 for the console and PS camera bundle, $26,899 for the Killzone Shadow Fall bundle, and $27,399 for the Battlefield 4 bundle. Limited stocks are allocated to the Philippine market, but units should still be available at Sony centers in Metro Manila, Pampanga, Cebu, Davao, and Cagayan de Oro. While the PS4 has been available through other channels since December, consoles purchased directly from Sony come with a 1-year regional warranty, honored in several ASEAN countries. Sony also announced the availability of the PS Vita 2000. The device goes on sale for $11,999. Like a kid in a candy store, I scoured through the massive Las Vegas Convention Center for a chance to discover the hottest gadgets on display at CES 2014. Following last week's special where we talked about 4K, wearables, and cars, this week we take a look at some other nifty finds. Probably the most interesting device at Chinese manufacturer ZTE's booth was this projector hotspot. About the size of an Apple TV, the ZTE projector runs on a full version of Android and comes with a 4-inch display, serves as a mobile hotspot that can provide internet connectivity to up to 5 devices, and can project full HD images up to 120 inches away. The device is powered by a 5,000 milliampere battery, so it can definitely be used for your presentations on the go. There were a lot of 3D printers at CES 2014, but it was this 3D scanner from Matterform that got our attention. Using a camera and lasers, the machine scans 3D objects and outputs them to a file that you can then use on any 3D printer. Scans take an average of 15 minutes. While there are machines that can do this, they cost tens of thousands of dollars. Matterform's 3D scanner is priced at only $579. Sony is looking for a slice of the pie in the action camera market currently dominated by GoPro. The HDR AS100V is splash-proof, but users can also purchase an optional waterproof case. It comes with an 18-megapixel Zeiss Tessar lens and has built-in image stabilization, but not the optical kind. Paired with an optional live view remote, you can control up to 5 cams together and mesh together the shots. Just like the GoPro Hero, it can also record at high speed up to 240 frames per second. Panasonic's HCW850 didn't get much press at CES, but its twin cameras got our attention. Aside from its 24-megapixel main camera, it has another built into the flip screen. Will it usher in the new age of video selfies? We're not sure, but we can think of occasions when you would like a reverse shot. Say your son is performing at his first play and you're shooting him, but you want to capture your own reaction, or the reaction of your spouse who's sitting next to you. Both feeds are combined into one picture-in-picture image. The camera will be priced at under $1,000 when it goes on sale this spring. Big was the first thing that came to mind when we got up close and personal with Nokia's new smartphone, the 6-inch Lumia 1520. The phablet felt like a clutch handbag the week we used it. While the new 1080p screen is a sight to behold, the smartphone felt more like a tablet, not good for one-hand tasks like texting and snapping photos. But that's as far as complaints go. It's refreshing to see a Windows Phone arrive with specs that are at par with the latest and greatest smartphones. This is partly due to Microsoft's new Lumia Black update, which gives Windows Phone 8 the ability to support new hardware, like the 2.2 GHz quad-core Snapdragon 800 processor and 2 GB of RAM that power this monster. The new update also delivers support for 1080p displays. Yep, you heard me. Believe it or not, the Lumia 1520 is the first Windows phone to sport a full HD screen. And since we've always been fans of Nokia's clear black displays, to finally see one in full HD glory was a feast to the eyes. Viewing angles are great, even in bright sunlight with deep blacks and rich saturated colors. And if that's not your cup of tea, you can go into display settings to adjust the screen's color profile. That's not something you can do on your average smartphone. The additional screen real estate and OS update affords you a third column of live tiles. The Lumia Black update also brings with it some new features. Nokia ProCam and Nokia Smart Camera have been integrated into a new app called Nokia Camera, possibly one of the best default camera apps on a smartphone today. Swipe the capture button to the left and bring out a host of manual settings, and rotate the dial down to bring out Smart Sequence that shoots a few frames and allows you to pick the best one, freeze a frame, or create motion blur. The only thing we feel is missing is light metering, a feature available on iOS 7 and on ZTE's new Nubia 5S. Like the Lumia 1020, the 1520's camera is slow. It takes about 3 seconds to start up and another 3 seconds to fire a second shot. But what it lacks in speed, it makes up in terms of image quality, as seen in these photos. The phone is equipped with a 20-megapixel PureView Zeiss f2.4 lens and comes with a 1/2.5-inch sensor that is fairly large by smartphone standards. Just don't compare it to the 41-megapixel Lumia 1020, there's no contest there. Our loaner unit was matte white. The phone also comes in matte black, matte yellow, and a glossy red. The phone shares the same design aesthetic as the rest of the Lumia line, with a squarish frame carved out of a single block of polycarbonate plastic. There's no removable battery, so you'll have to make do with a built-in 3,400 mAh battery, which based on our tests will last you about a day on regular use. We like being able to bring around the optional wireless charging stand and just placing the phone on top of it for a juice refill. US versions, though, require an optional wireless charging case for the feature to work. Nano SIM and micro SD card trays are located on the left-hand side of the device, while on its right, the standard 3-button layout that includes a dedicated camera button. 4 microphones on the back of the phone, right above the dual LED flash, are supposed to capture more realistic audio, like when you're at a concert. If you've got big hands or you're into big screen phablets, you might want to check out the Lumia 1520. The device packs a punch and took every power-hungry app we threw at it. It takes great photos, has an amazing display, and is every inch the power phablet that it's supposed to be. Its only real weakness is Windows Phone 8's paltry app ecosystem. While that's slowly changing with the arrival of apps like Vine, Path, and Instagram, it's still missing a version of Facebook that's at par with what's available on Android and iOS, and other gems like Instapaper, Wunderlist, ViscoCam, and Flipboard, which we think would be great on this 6-inch screen. In the US, the Lumia 1520 is available exclusively from AT&T for $199 with a 2-year contract and $584.99 contract-free. And in the Philippines, from Nokia stores for $32,990 without a contract. Nokia has started rolling out the Nokia Black update to its entire Lumia line, so you can get some of the new features available on the 1520. With the update, you get new apps like Nokia Beamer, which can mirror your phone onto a computer or an internet-connected TV, Nokia Storyteller, which creates a timeline of your photos on a map based on where your photos were taken, and features like Glance Screen, which can display up to 5 different notifications from missed calls, new texts, instant messages, and unread emails. Glance Screen colors are customizable. You can have them glow a bright green, for example, to make them easier to see in the dark. Now on Windows Phone, you can customize ringtones for texts and emails, close apps when you're on multitasking view, and turn auto screen rotation on and off. And that was Tech Wrap. Follow Rappler.com on social media. Join the conversation on Twitter and Facebook using the hashtag TechWrap. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to send us emails. The email address is techwrap@rappler.com. And if you're looking to satisfy your tech fix, you can log on to rappler.com/technology. That's all for this week, folks. I'm Michael Josh. Thanks for dropping by.